As the world makes the transition to clean energy, demand for the lithium-ion batteries used to charge our smartphones, laptops, and electric cars is booming. But to create these phenomenal batteries, a crucial component known as cobalt is needed, making it indispensable to global tech and manufacturing companies. But as demand continues to skyrocket and many countries benefit from it, there's one country in particular that's bearing the brunt of it all. Located in the heart of Africa, the DRC is home to the world's largest cobalt reserves, and because of this, several companies are scrambling to get a hold of it, affecting so many people in the process. It's clear that clean energy has the potential to solve the climate crisis. But at what cost? Do we fully comprehend the impact it has on people's lives? This is the dark side of Congo's cobalt rush. The Democratic Republic of Congo, the second largest country in Africa, is rich in natural treasures, ranging from coffee, diamonds, and timber to the incredibly diverse Congo Basin, the world's second largest tropical rainforest. However, what really puts the nation on the map is its cobalt reserves. It holds over half of the world's supply and contributes to about 70% of the global production. Cobalt has become an indispensable metal in our everyday lives. It's a critical component of the lithium-ion batteries that power our rechargeable devices. The unique energy density of cobalt is what keeps our phones, tablets, and even electric toothbrushes running longer. This characteristic also makes cobalt a cornerstone of green energy technologies. As the world increasingly turns to electric energy, the demand for cobalt has skyrocketed. In 2021, the market expanded by 22%, and it's projected to grow by 13% annually for at least the next 5 years. According to a 2020 World Bank report, cobalt production must increase by up to 500% by 2050 to achieve clean energy objectives. Consequently, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, both legal and illegal mines are popping up, posing a threat to the untouched tropical rainforest. Mining is a significant economic driver in the DRC. In 2019, mining taxes made up 46% of the government's revenue. The country, along with mine owners and international mineral traders, stand to gain from this booming demand. However, the ordinary citizens of the Congo see little benefit from these mining operations. Issues of corruption and unethical mining practices have led to what is known as the resource curse, perpetuating a cycle of poverty. The environmental and social toll of cobalt mining in the Congo is significant, and while those profiting from it may try to downplay these impacts, the damaging consequences are increasingly coming to light. The human and environmental devastation caused by mining in the DRC is staggering. Cobalt is fast turning from a miracle metal to a deadly chemical, as toxic dumping is destroying landscapes, polluting water, and contaminating crops. The air is filled with harmful dust and particulates from open-pit mines, making it unsafe and dangerous to breathe, forcing entire communities to leave their homes. It is difficult to establish just how large of an area of the Congo Basin has been deforested to make way for cobalt mines, because the country's other natural resources contribute to the deforestation too. However, it has been estimated that millions of trees have been clear-cut by giant mining companies, and satellite imagery illustrates a barren wasteland in areas of once thriving biodiversity. Unfortunately, it's not just Congo's environment that has faced the brunt of cobalt mining, but its people too. Cobalt mining in the Congo paints a picture reminiscent of a bygone era, with workers enduring conditions that can only be described as inhumane. Children and adults alike spend hours in perilous tunnels, digging for cobalt with rudimentary tools or their bare hands, while others are exposed to toxic substances as they process ore in polluted waters. Without any safety gear, injuries and fatalities are all too common. Despite these hazards, the compensation for such labor is often less than $2 a day. The dark side of Congo's cobalt prosperity includes instances of modern-day slavery, human trafficking, and the exploitation of child labor. These issues are thoroughly examined in Siddharth Kara's acclaimed book, How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives, which sheds light on the human cost behind our technological conveniences. Siddharth Kara, through his detailed fieldwork, exposes the harsh realities of artisanal and small-scale cobalt mining in the DRC in his book. He shares first-hand accounts from numerous Congolese individuals caught in the desperate scramble for cobalt, a pursuit that has led to widespread illness, countless deaths, and the extensive pollution of the region's water, soil, and air. Kara's book offers a critical evaluation of the cobalt mining sector, stating that the destruction caused by cobalt mining in the name of renewable energy is unparalleled in modern times. While there's a tendency outside of the DRC to distinguish between cobalt sourced from the country's sophisticated industrial mines and that obtained by artisanal miners, Kara argues that these two sources are inextricably linked. The book calls for urgent reforms, emphasizing the importance of not turning our backs on the DRC or the hundreds of thousands of individuals working in these mines, but rather acknowledging and addressing the systemic issues within the cobalt mining industry. Most car manufacturing and electronics companies try to avoid including artisanal and small-scale cobalt mining in their supply chains. They regard it as a risk to their reputation, a perspective reinforced further by investors. Aware of this concern, large mining companies typically assert that their output includes only cobalt from large industrial mines, which is quite different from the situation on the ground. Every day, tens of thousands of people in Congo try to scrape out small amounts of mineral ore on the periphery of the large-scale mining operations. They sell the cobalt to local traders, most of whom are Chinese, who later send the ore to refineries both in the DRC and to China, where almost 80% is processed. The intersections during extraction and refining make it virtually impossible to separate ASM cobalt from industrial mined material. It's high time for these big companies to come to terms with the fact that as the beneficiaries of cobalt profits, they bear direct responsibility for addressing the challenges in informal mines. First off, corporate buyers of cobalt should acknowledge that artisanal and small-scale mining is an integral component of cobalt mining in the DRC. They need to accept their share of responsibility for addressing the challenges and play a role in developing enforceable safety and labor standards. Second, the only way to make real progress in limiting child labor or improving mine safety is to formalize these artisanal and small-scale mining sites. Formalization entails putting fences around active mining areas, hiring guards, and developing strict safety protocols that are safeguarded by local mining cooperatives, including the distribution of boots, gloves, and other personal protection equipment. In addition to that, male miners need to be dissuaded from traditional superstitions about working with women. With more women integrated into the workforce, family incomes increase, and economically active mothers will tend to send more of their children to school rather than to the mines. Another recommendation centers on the need to involve local actors in these reforms, both mining cooperatives that can give workers a voice in shaping their future, and the DRC government, which has an essential regulatory role to play. In the event that the DRC government falls short in achieving its objectives, governments in countries where major cobalt buyers are based, including Germany, the US, Japan, and South Korea, need to support the DRC and the mining companies to develop and enforce strong human rights standards. All in all, this is a timely and practical agenda, which global mining companies, battery-reliant manufacturers, and governments can and should embrace as a roadmap for promoting human rights. In conclusion, the mining of cobalt from the Congo reveals a paradox within the clean energy movement, aimed at combating global warming. This initiative, while critical in the fight against climate change, unfortunately repeats a historical pattern of environmental harm, exploitation, and greed. Lithium-ion batteries are key to the transition to renewable energy. Yet, the mining and processing of the metals required for these batteries often inflict significant, overlooked harm on workers, local communities, and the environment in remote areas around the globe. Without acknowledging and addressing these impacts, the shift toward green energy risks mirroring the destructive legacies of past industrial revolutions.